back. Holy
Yes, we
house,
are.
can you believe we're back? I mean, we come in and we get to like dominate people's Sunday mornings. Does that make you feel special?
That does.
Oh my
so
gosh.
much power
So
there.
much power. Guys, I'm Amy House.
And I'm Coley House.
And this is the He Said.
She Said.
In Business Show. And once again, we have I'm really excited about this guest. I have had the opportunity of getting to know Barbara for a little over a year and a half now. And there are so many levels of Barbara that I am like in love with. I really believe that who she is as a core person is why she is successful in business. So I want to introduce to everybody Barbara Colvin. Barbara Colvin, real estate extraordinaire. Welcome, Barbara, to the show.
Hi, everyone.
She's not sure what she's walked in on. And so we're going to give Barbara a chance to really showcase. But here's some of the things that I know about Barbara, and I want to talk to her about. She has been in business how many years now, Barbara?
Since 2014.
I told her she looks really amazingly good for being in business this long. I mean, people, if you don't know it, being in business is a contact sport. It is not for the faint of heart to build a business. And I always laugh that presidents look old after 4 years, right? Imagine what business owners look like after 4 or 5. 10.
I don't know. I think I'm aging quite well.
Well, we know Barbara is.
Oh.
But Barbara, over the past couple of years, you have built an amazing business. And there are two things that really stand out to me.
First of all, why don't you tell us where you're from?
Oh, yeah.
Because you're not from San Antonio.
Where are you?
So, born in Bermuda, if you believe that. My dad was in the Air Force, and so we moved around, but I'm not a brat. And then we ended up after several locations. Actually, I grew up in San Antonio primarily, went to middle and high school here, and then ran up to Austin as soon as I could.
There you go. And she comes back. She has family here.
Yes.
Yes. So, but you do business in a wide scope. You don't just do business in Austin.
No, actually, the whole greater Austin area. So I'll work in, Georgetown, Pflugerville, Round Rock. I've done some business in Kyle, in Buda, Liberty Hill, Hutto, those areas as well. And even as far down as New Braunfels.
No, awesome. Okay, so Barbara in the real estate market has been super crazy. Like
Yes.
That's like an understatement of it has been super crazy, and probably will have some weird tweaks as we kind of go forward.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that you have been very, very confident about is that you are both a buyer and a seller's agent.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
In this past market, we were hearing from lots of real estate agents of just they were trying to be listing agents only. They only wanted to work from the seller point of view. They didn't want to work from the buyer's point of view. There was a lot of work that goes into working with buyers. Why have you maintained that I am both an agent for a buyer or a seller, not trying to be one or the other?
Right. Well, I think it's overall it's important to be, knowledgeable in both areas and handle both clients, whether they're buyers or sellers. But for me, it goes to, the core of why I started in real estate, and that is, provision for our daughters for their education, but also, the heart that I have is, God, who do you want me to help? And bring them in my path, and thank you, may I have another. And I've kept that the whole time since I've started in business.
Do you prefer one or the other?
Actually, I think there's fun in both of them. So I really don't. I mean, it's, who needs help and who is reaching out, and I go from there.
It's funny that you say that, and Lord give me another, because we just rewatched this past week Hacksaw Ridge with Desmond Doss saying, Lord, just one more, just give me one more to help.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was one of the things that impressed me about your heart in business, is that while it is the resource that you use to help your daughters have an education and go on to college and do all this stuff. You approach this as this is your mission field. You're helping somebody build the life God intends for them, correct?
Yes,
That is
yes, and it's it's fun, and I've found if the clients that I'm working with, I mean, if they're open to have prayer through the process, I will. If they're not, that's okay. I'm still the same either way, you know.
no, absolutely. The other part of your business that I find fascinating is you have built a huge portion of your business is working with investors.
Yes, that has really blossomed. There's probably about a bank of maybe 110 that I have built up with connections and that. And granted, they're not all buying at the same time or investing at the same time, but it started with with one, and it's webbed out from there.
No, I always, I think people think real estate investing is scary and hard. And the fact that you have over these years built a group of 100 plus people that you've helped them build their real estate portfolios, build their real estate companies. Um, Really, if you were to advise somebody of where to start getting information, if they were thinking, hey, I want to start building up a possible real estate portfolio, but maybe it's not in the San Antonio area.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're wanting to build it in Waco. Maybe they're wanting to build it in Fredericksburg or somewhere else. What do they need to educate themselves on that's different from being a home buyer that to be a real estate investor? What would you tell them?
Well, I think it's important, one, and not just because I'm a realtor, but get connected with an established realtor, one that has the education and ability to provide guidance in that area. Because as an investor, you do have to look at it from another perspective, that it's not your home that you're going to live in. You're providing a place for somebody else to live, but look at it in the overall picture. How does the return? What does that look like? What all is factored in that, as well as the type of home that you're providing, and then you have to look at your price point, just a whole bunch of factors as far as to get to that number that's going to be important. But also, I say, if you're investing, make it move-in ready, and meaning that you're providing a washer, you're providing a dryer, you're providing a refrigerator, because some people are coming from apartments and they may not have that, or they've rented a condo and they had that, and it just makes it that much easier on the flip side after closing to get it leased, and then you start your your return coming.
I like that thought. I mean, Coley and I have talked about building rental real estate. And I don't think we've ever thought about it's not just about finding the home to invest in, but it's even strategically thinking in that pre-process what needs to go into that home to make it almost immediately rent ready, right? So yeah, I would think that would be a huge discussion.
Yeah. Well, it definitely, it definitely is. There's other things that I'll ask investors that are starting. I mean, obviously, what is their price point that they hope to stay in, and what else is important to them, and I'll always consider, okay, resale and down the road. Where are you going to be investing in, and what is the potential for that? Well, I don't have a crystal ball. I mean, I always look at things on where would I invest. I look at the investors. Money that they're using as, would I invest here? Is this something, because I feel like if I'm looking at it as if it were my own, then I'm giving them the right guidance, because I'm looking for things I would look at.
No, absolutely. Barbara, if someone wanted to reach out to you, they were like, I'm probably moving to the Austin area. I need to connect with an agent there. Or if they're thinking about investment, or they are in real estate investments and they want to reach out to you, what's a great way for them to find you?
So the best way I would think would be to call at or text me, and my number's 512-589-4139.
So here's what I think's phenomenal. She just told you to text her. Guys, Barbara has a very large real estate business. I mean, we're not talking a small business here. You have a team of people that help you.
Yes.
And so the fact that she just gave you her personal phone number and said, hey, y'all text me, tells you why there are 100+ people that trust you with their real estate decisions and investments. I think that speaks highly of you and your heart. But I want you to tell Coley the funny story about the cows.
About the cows.
Oh, this will make him happy. This is the Texas boy that you were showing a farm, and the cows decided to visit you.
Oh, yes. Well, it's actually been, yes. So a couple of weeks ago, I was out driving with some investors, and we were looking at farm and ranch acreage, and that is also an area that I do as well. So I was driving my husband's truck, and all of us, there's cows that are grazing in that, not on the path, but as we're coming forth on the road there was this like huge bull. And I mean, I want to say that it was like, I didn't think that bulls could be that big, but they are. But they are. It was like the size of the whole front end, and it was huge. And all of a sudden, these cows just started, surrounding the truck, and I didn't want to hit them, but I just kind of pushed through a little bit, at a time. But yeah, that was kind of funny.
There's nothing that real estate agents won't tackle, right? Did you ever think you'd be herding cows in a truck?
No. No. And yeah, I've had them follow, like I'm like, oh, don't follow me. It's not feeding time.
There's nothing in the back of this truck you can have. So, and then you've shared with me before, you have shown up to show houses and the power was off and it's nighttime. Tell me about some of those experiences.
That's got to be a little scary.
Well, I only do that if I've vetted and verified the client, obviously, and we have a working relationship in that. But yeah, so I went to this show a home, and power was off. So I've learned to keep a big flashlight in my car, and so had flashlight, and the clients had their cell phone lights, and we're kind of going through the home that way. And of course, always recommend before we're going to, put an offer in, let's go in the day.
Let's see when we can actually see. No, that is awesome. That is fantastic. So recently we had the opportunity of working with you and doing some marketing photos for you. And we actually got to visit your home. And this was like the seal the deal. If I were buying a home in Austin, which I'm not, guys. I'm in San Antonio, so don't get excited there. But I walked into your home and we just walked into Home and Gardens.
Oh wow.
I mean, seriously. So if you're looking for a home and you don't have that eye of how to use space and how to be creative and make a home what you're wanting it to be, you clearly have an eye of seeing something in homes that maybe other people don't have. Do you give a lot of advice to your clients when they're looking at homes to give them like, this could be done or that could be done?
Like paint the picture?
Oh, well, yes. For starters, yes. I mean, first I'll counsel them on, it's not, look at the potential, especially, if it's a resale home. Don't look at the cosmetics. Cosmetics can be changed. Just look at the bones, of the home. But then yes, I mean, just kind of giving them some ideas about how different areas can be changed to help them envision, and then also provide the resources for them. I have a great interior designer that I work with in Stager that is phenomenal, and she's helped.
Awesome.
On that end.
That's awesome. So tell me this, when someone is wanting to sell their home and you go in and you're thinking this home isn't ready, how do you approach that conversation with a homeowner that their home is not ready to go on the market and that what they need to do to prepare? What does that look like? Because I would think that that's a hard conversation to have with people.
Well, it is definitely a hard, a challenging and hard and difficult conversation. Not so much, for me, but it's getting the seller to look at their house as once they decide to sell that it's a product. It's not it's not my house. It has all these memories and is very dear, to them. It's helping them shift to that mindset and then providing the ideas and suggestions and talking to them, okay, are you wanting to, what end of the spectrum of the comparables are you wanting to and hope to sell at? If you're wanting to just sell it immediately and not do any updates or repairs or allow staging in that, then expect to go on the lower end of the comps. However, if you're willing to do a few things, just a few cosmetic things can make a big difference. Then you've moved up to the middle. But overall, within that, you're going to want to make sure that the systems of the home are all in working condition, because as a buyer, you want those things. The basic systems to be done. And on the buyer side, I mean, today they're not really wanting to do anything. They want to walk in and the house is moving ready
Right.
and all pretty and that. So it's just, it's talking to them and finding out what they're willing to do. And honestly, doing a few things can net you a little bit more.
Do you get a lot of pushback from people about whether or not to spend a little bit of money and do cleaning, painting, things like that?
No, usually not. Unless they absolutely don't have the resources to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Most often, we'll look at other homes that are on the market and other comparables that are on the spectrum, and I'll ask them, let's look at these and what do you see? Which house are you hoping to get yours to be like, to net the most? Or can you understand that if you don't do these things, then you're likely to be on the lower side.
End. On the lower end.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things, Barbara, that I have found fascinating by you, when we work with a lot of business owners and business people, the conversation of why you make the leap into business. And we said earlier in the show, building a business is not for the faint of heart. It's a battle some days to make things happen. It takes a lot of dedication to stay in it long enough to build what you need to build. You have a very, very clear why, and it has fueled you all these years. What's your why?
So my why has been our daughters. We have 2 daughters, and their education. I'm an education geek, and not to flip over on that, but look behind the designations. I mean, I feel like education is very important. But for our daughters to just have the opportunity of a great education, they've been able to. My work has allowed them to be in private school, and now funding our oldest college.
To go to college.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, you need to know, Barbara is a Longhorn, and she is sacrificing that for her daughter to go where?
To Texas A&M.
A house divided.
It hurts my heart. It hurts my heart. But yes, that is true. That is absolutely true. And I think probably that, not just that, your why, but your foundation and your belief that what you do is about service.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched you over the past year and a half, how you treat people, how I have the most phenomenal first aid kit in my car, thanks to Barbara. I mean, it's just the little things that she does that makes her stand out in a way. Barbara, if they were to reach out to you, give them your number again. Tell them how to reach you.
You can call or text me at 512-589-4139.
So you mentioned your commitment to education. You're in the process of taking some courses right now on
Yes. So I am taking some courses on short sales and foreclosures.
Yeah.
And just to have another area of knowledge and expertise in my pocket.
So do
to
you
help.
foresee that that's going to be kind of the next wave that's going to happen?
You know, it's likely from what I've heard, just and read, just being that with the stimulus and that people have received, and not really using that appropriately towards their mortgage, there are some some homeowners that are going to find themselves in a pickle
Mhm.
in come
in the
next
near
year.
future.
Mhm.
Yeah. And possibly,
Mhm.
too, some investors that have been carrying rental property
Yes.
that they weren't quite. And I like your point about being prepared really to be a real estate investor and what that could mean, because they've had to carry, some of the real estate investors have had to carry notes on properties that they're not receiving
Mhm.
payments on, that they
Mhm.
might want to downsize their portfolios
Mhm.
just a little bit in the
Yeah.
upcoming months. So,
Wow.
absolutely. So, guys, I'm just going to say we have had the pleasure of sharing with you guests on our show that we believe have the heart to serve others. And we really believe, Colleen and I both believe,
Yes.
that business is about service, that to be successful in business, it's not always about focusing on how much I'm making, it's how much I'm helping someone else. And Barbara, you are that kind of person. So
Oh, thank
thanks for
you.
being on here. Guys,
Thank you.
I want you to text Barbara, give them your number one more time. Just say, hey, Barbara, we heard your show. So give them your number.
It's 512-589-4139.
Awesome. Guys, I'm Amy House.
And I'm Coley House.
And this is the He Said, She Said show. And oh my gosh, guys, if you want to be on our show, reach out to us. Go to our website, www.growinoutlouddarlin.com. Drop those G's, y'all, because we are Southern. And we'll come back at you next Sunday.